Hey guys, it's Zach from Harmonies from home, and today I'll be teaching you about your embouchure, which is basically the position that you need to make with your mouth in order to blow a sound out of your saxophone. So what is an embouchure? Basically, the point of an embouchure is that you position your mouth such that you create a seal around the mouthpiece so that all of your air that you're blowing can go straight through out the saxophone and produce a nice sound. To begin, you want to start with just your neck and your mouthpiece, and that way you can blow and only focus on your embouchure without having to worry about the rest of the horn. Now, in case you missed our sax assembly video, you want to have the mouthpiece in the middle of the neck, as well as the reed in the middle of the mouthpiece. Then, how far up or down you place the reed depends from player to player. But generally, if you find that it is too hard to blow, you want to loosen your ligature and move the reed downwards so that you can see a bit more black at the top, like so. Whereas, if you feel that it's too easy to blow and you want more resistance, you can move the reed up a bit, like that. Now that your neck and mouthpiece are assembled correctly, you want to start by placing your front teeth about a centimeter or so down on the mouthpiece, like right here. Next, you want to take your bottom lip and roll it in so that it acts as a cushion between your teeth and the mouthpiece, like so. Once you have both your front teeth and your bottom lip on the mouthpiece, try to focus and tighten your entire mouth around the mouthpiece in order to tightly hold the mouthpiece in place, like this. You want to make sure especially that the corners of your mouth are tight around the mouthpiece right here, which will prevent any air from coming out the sides. However, you also want to make sure not to bite too hard on the mouthpiece, as it could create tension and thin out your sound. After that, your embouchure is complete, and you can go ahead and try blowing a stream of air through your mouthpiece and through your neck, like so. Now that you have a good understanding of your embouchure, you can go ahead and adjust different parts of your mouth in order to see what you can change to create the optimal sound. I'll now demonstrate the different variables that you can mess around with in your mouth, as well as how each of these variables will affect your sound. For example, you can experiment with how much mouthpiece you put into your mouth. If you put too much mouthpiece into your mouth, you'll have a more blasty sound, like this. However, if you don't put enough mouthpiece in your mouth, you'll have a weak sound and a thin sound, like this. The next thing you can experiment with is how far or how little you roll out your lip. For example, if you roll out your lip a lot, you'll have an uncontrolled and broader sound, like this. However, if you roll in your lip too much, then again it'll become thin and it'll be very quiet. Next, you can experiment with the corners of your mouth. If they're too loose, you can have air come out from the side and produce an airy sound. However, if they're too tight, they can create tension and close off your sound, like this. Finally, you want to mess around with the pressure of your mouth and how hard you bite on the mouthpiece. If you don't have enough pressure, your sound will become flat and won't be as controlled. However, if you bite too hard and you have too much pressure, your sound will become choked off and thin out. And with that, you've learned all of the key aspects to forming a good embouchure. Now, you should practice this every day in order to build the necessary muscles to produce a good embouchure and sustain that for long periods of time while playing. However, as you practice, your mouth muscles might become sore and tired easily since you're not used to using these muscles. If that's the case, it's okay to take a break and allow your muscles to refresh before playing again. The important thing to remember is that your embouchure is similar to lifting weights. It's a muscle in your mouth, and the more you work on it, the stronger and more long endurance you'll have in your mouth. Whereas if you don't practice as much, you'll have a weaker embouchure and you won't be able to play for extended periods of time. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on your embouchure, and in the next video I'll be explaining the correct positioning and fingerings for your saxophone. So be sure to stay subscribed and stay tuned to Harmonies from Home. Peace.